This is the remains of the latest digital watch that I made, and this was okay. It's quite small, quite thin. The only problem was it ran for just about a month, maybe 6 weeks on the battery, and I finally found out the reason why, and it was that I put the non-low power version of the PIC on the board. So I thought, well, easy fix, I'll put the low power version, the LF version, on there, and that should give me a year, 2 years battery life, something like that. And it all sort of stacks up, everything. So for some reason I just put the wrong PIC on there. So I did that, and unfortunately now the GPIO seems to pull the supply down when I press one of the buttons, so it doesn't work. Checked the circuit, looked at it, put another chip on, same thing. So I've really sort of lost patience with the PIC family. I've had quite a few problems with them in the past, so I put that aside for a while. It's got a nice sharp memory LCD on it, which is really low power, but it does need to be powered up all the time. So recently I've been playing around with this, and this is a Epaper display. It's quite a bit bigger than the sharp memory LCD, but in terms of form factor it fits almost perfectly on that case that I've got, so it won't make a difference in effect. And obviously, being Epaper, the nice thing about this is that it's zero power when it's off. So for some reason the demo I've got here so the demo goes to a blank display for some reason, I don't really know why, and I'll power it off and back on and there you go, that's what it was displaying on the demo. It takes a while to update, but that doesn't really matter if you just do that once a minute or once every 5 minutes or something like that, which could be a mode that could be changed. And this one's quite interesting because it's effectively 3 colour. It's black and white and red, so you can do you can put red stuff on there. I don't know what I'd use that for, but I just got it because it is one of those, and I was quite interested in seeing what they were like. So this is running off an Arduino shield on an Uno, and that means I can use the normal Arduino IDE for the watch firmware. Now I've also been using a lot of these, which is Blue Pills and the ARM processor. So I thought, well, that's pretty small. If you look at the packages and compare that to the SO, I think it's a 14, there's not a lot in it, and I think it may actually be thinner. So I thought I'd move to that, and so I've had some boards made up. Now what this is basically footprint for an ARM and some minimal support circuitry for the ARM processor, and also the circuitry needed to drive the Epaper display. It's got its own charge pump and things, and the voltages are quite strange, so there are a lot of components on there compared to the memory LCD version. So it is a bigger PCB. I mean, you can see it's about a little bit wider and about twice the height, but it does fit in that form factor, sort of. I might need a slightly bigger case. And the display I'm hoping will fit sort of underneath it, so sort of that sort of arrangement with the battery underneath that. So it might be a bit thicker than this one because the battery goes alongside all the electronics in there. But the ARM's also got a low power mode that rivals the PIC, so that should be fine. So everything seems to be fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is build one of these up and see if I can get the display working and check that I've got the hardware right. Then I can look at the firmware. Now I don't know whether I'll stick with the Arduino IDE. I might do, might not. It depends on how well the low power stuff works. If it doesn't work too well, I might flip over to writing bare metal code on this. So I've got programming connections over here on these pins. So what I did on the PIC version was I just soldered wires on to connect the programmer, and I'm going to do the same thing here, and I've got a much smaller pitch on all the connectors. So everything will be wired on for the switches, the battery and the programming connection. I've also, I think that's RS-232 in the corner, so there's no USB on here. So if I want debug, I'll go in through there, or if I'm not using the Arduino IDE and using bare metal, I can go straight in using Eclipse and the OpenOCD through the SD link. So first step is to build up one of these boards, I think. Another problem is I've run out of STM32s in this package, so I'm going to have to take a blue pill and desolder the chip off it in order to get one, because I don't have, I can't buy any in that package size. So that's another little wrinkle. But if it's gone blank again. If I take that off and restart it, what I can do is just stop it at some point in the update process. Wait for something interesting to come up. It is quite an update process. It's going to be quite distracting having to do that every so often, and use quite a lot of power. So that's the downside of Epaper. It's the time it takes to do an update, and also the power it takes to do an update, or the energy, strictly speaking. So there you go. If we unplug that, that's now unplugged, so there's no power on it. You can take that off the board. I'll do that because I might want to use that. And there you go. So that is, well, zero power. So in between updates we should be able to have zero power, and that's the board. I've also made it a bit thinner than normal. That's a 1mm thickness, not a 1.6, so I save a bit there as well. But it is going to be the battery that's going to be the problem, because there'll be components on top of here, and that's going to make it about that thick, I should think, and then you need a battery underneath. So yeah, I'll do another case obviously, because it isn't going to fit, but we'll see how it goes. It's really just a demonstration at the moment, just a prototype to see if I can get the hardware working. But yeah, build one of those up.